Ladies, gentlemen, thank you so much for sticking around. We still have more exciting presentations and experts' opinions coming up at this World Environment Day Virtual Symposium. Just a reminder, the theme for this year is Urbanization and Climate Change, Building Resilient Cities for a Sustainable Future. Now, it is a pleasure to introduce Professor Anh Phan. She is a chemical engineer at the chair of circular chemical engineering in the School of Engineering at Newcastle, United Kingdom. Our work focuses on chemical engineering, process intensification, and circular chemical system, including research on mesoscale oscillatory baffle reactor. She's a part of the Newcastle University Engineering and Process Intensification Research Community, contributing to both teaching and research. Our work supports the development of more efficient and sustainable chemical processes aligned with circular economic principles and sustainable engineering practice. Professor Anh, such a pleasure to have you here, and the floor is yours. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, everyone from the UK. So it's a great pleasure to be here. I'm delighted to share some thoughts on a challenge facing us all today, building resilient cities for a sustainable future. So as we know, cities concentrate population, energy use, and economic output. They are home to more than half of populations and a shared project to reach 2/3 by 2050. They account up to 80% of the global greenhouse gas emissions and consume around 2/3 of the world energy. So what do we mean by a resilient city? So how do we achieve this, particularly in the face of rapid urbanization and climate change? So at the heart of it, a city is not just about buildings and streets, just as our previous speaker mentioned. Cities is where people live, work, and thrive. It's a complex network depending upon vital lifelines, energy, infrastructure, and healthcare. So when all of these strands weakens or breaks, the entire network feels the strain. So a truly resilient city is not simply about reacting to survive with disasters. It's about anticipating them, adapting rapidly to disruptions, bouncing back quickly, and ultimately thriving in the face of adversity. So in the context of climate change, the cities we are aiming for should be inclusive, operate with significantly reduced emissions, and embrace circular design principles. So circular design principle meaning minimizing waste and maximizing resource recovery. So building in this kind of resilience is a shared responsibility, demanding a proactive approach. It requires robust frameworks, thorough risk analysis, and innovative solutions to navigate future challenges. So today I would like to explore how we can build cities that not only withstand extreme weather events, but also fundamentally restructure their energy consumption, protect vital ecosystems, promote sustainable growth and mobility, and responsibly manage resources and waste. So every city generates waste, both solid waste and wastewater, presenting us significantly challenges to deal with. So as you can see, each person produces average around 800 grams of solid waste per day. On the top of that, we generate around 80 to 100 liters of wastewater per day. So without substantial shifts toward waste reduction and recycling, global waste generation is projected to increase to around 3.8 billion tons per year from the current amount of 2.3 billion tons. So the consequences of waste management are severe because we don't have the inadequate waste management in many places, so it incur the direct financial costs and also the hidden burdens costs, such as population, public health risks, and climate change impacts. So I look at the number, the annual cost is predicted to nearly double by 2050 from the amount around the value we have it now is 361 billion US dollar. If we don't have any interventions. So intervention I'm talking in here is about reduce waste at source and increase the recycling. Ironically, cities facing the most consequences of poor waste management, for example, informal dump sites, contaminated water sources, and illness from open burning are often those generated. The least waste, the low-income regions, as you can see, 72% is uncollected, and a large percentage go to dump site. Within the city themselves, we can see the inappropriate or the effects of vulnerable communities, highlighting a critical need for equitable solutions about waste management. So the current crisis about waste management we're talking here is not only from inadequate practices, but also from the flawed systems and designs, in my view. So several structural challenges would hinder the effective waste management. From my view, firstly, is the infrastructure gaps in many low and middle income cities. Formal collection services is less than half. Secondly, the municipal waste services are frequently viewed as a cost center rather than a valuable resource stream. So that is hindering the investment. The third one is the lack of reliable data regarding waste generation, management, and methods, and so on. And finally, the economic model treats disposal as an endpoint rather than recognizes as a potential for reuse and recycling. So we need a fundamental shift in perspective, moving away from viewing waste as a problem, but recognizing it as a resource. So currently, you can see that open dumping, that is the primary disposal method for many cities in the developing country, is the single largest contribution to greenhouse gas emissions. So we need to look at that in a different view. Waste is not merely a downstream issue; its impact is embedded throughout the entire economy, from manufacturing, transport to consumption, and eventually the disposal. So when properly managed, waste represents a valuable resource for us to exploit. So waste valorization, recovering the economic and energetic value from the discarded materials, is a powerful strategy for the urban climate resilience. So recycling already saves over 700 million tons of CO2 annually, with projection reaching around 1 billion tons by 2030 through increased investment and scaling. So this is not only deliver significant environmental benefits, but also supplies approximately 40% of the global raw material. So it preserves our planet resources. So beyond recycling, we're talking about a high moisture content waste, such as food waste and sludge. We can transfer it from these high moisture content waste to the biogas for the heat and power. Similarly, we're talking about the construction and demolition waste, often the largest waste stream in rapidly urbanization areas, can be reintegrated in a new building project. So we look at where one industry output becomes another output, so we can further exemplify this potential. So this is just the example about the wastewater we do the treatment, how we dispose of it. So to effectively prioritize the solution, we must adopt a hierarchy approach. So we have to reduce at source, reuse, recycle, recover, and disposal only look at as a last resort. So cities, in my view, leading in waste management also demonstrate greater overall resilience. So this requires a strategic investment in infrastructure designed to treat waste as a resource, including anaerobic digestion, composting facilities for organic materials, material recovery facilities, and so on. So we also need the networks in order to utilize the recovered energy. Why these investments require carefully planning and phased implementation? They are essential. Effective waste management demands inclusive governance. So, in summary, building a resilient city hinges on the choice we make, prioritizing infrastructure investment, valuing specific waste streams, defining the kind of urban environment we want to create. So waste is not an ending. It's in a truly resilient city. In my view, it marks the beginning of new cycle. So I think that is all of my thought about the resilient city from the experience we work on the circularity and sustainability. So thank you very much.
So thank you very much, Professor Anh. We will not be able to take questions because of our time, but I'm also going to wrap up your presentation to the audience. And your presentation has been very insightful and very practical, and you reminded us that resilient cities are not only about buildings, again, as much as all the other speakers have been talking about. It's not just about infrastructure, but it's about systems that allow people to live, to work, to recover, and thrive in the face of climate change. And I was particularly struck by your emphasis on secular principles, secular design principles, especially the need to minimize waste, maximize resource recovery, and stop seeing waste as merely a problem. But I mean, instead, we should look at our waste. We should let it challenge us to view waste as a valuable resource that can help us support energy recovery, recycling, climate resilience, and more sustainable urban systems. And your presentation also highlighted the serious waste and wastewater challenges facing cities, particularly in low and middle income contexts, where poor waste management can deepen pollution, can not just pollution, but can also pose a public health risk, inequality, and climate vulnerability. And that's if we can, you've shown us that building resilience requires not just infrastructure, but we can shift to innovation, to reliable data, and a shift from disposal to recovery. So we'd like to thank you once again, Professor Anh, for bringing such an important circular economy and engineering perspective to this symposium. We appreciate your time, we appreciate your expertise and your contribution to the symposium, and we look forward to engaging with you in the future. Some of our participants have asked if we could share, they would like to have access to your slide. With your permission, we would like to share those some of your PowerPoint presentation with them.
Thank you. I think I will share it with you, and then you can share to the participants if that's okay. I will send via email.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Bye.